All right, so today we're going to be editing a classic wildlife image. Got a lion on a kope in East Africa. This is the after, and this is the before. And you can tell it starts off with a good photo. The lighting's nice, but compared to the after, I mean, you definitely have some lighting to do. You got some sky treatment. So we're going to go through step by step. We're going to open in Camera Raw. That's my platform of choice. And we're going to do some edits here in real time. So just bringing this over, make it full screen. Great. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, believe it or not, is I'm going to hit auto just to see what the smart settings are going to do. Yeah, it did a little bit. I can tell it reduced the highlights of the sky. It brought out some contrast, maybe a little bit of color in the line, but I'm going to hit Command Z just to undo that. And this is one of those cases where I actually am going to do a sky mask first, but I'm actually going to, once it selects, I'm going to hit X and do the inverse because I want to treat the lion the same as the rock. If I treat only the lion and not the rock, like if I were to do a subject mask, it's going to really have too much difference with what's going on with the rock. So again, select the sky, hit X. That way I can get everything selected properly. It's really just an inverse function. So if you're using Lightroom, just find the inverse tool. I believe it's also X. And then, yeah, the red's going to get the treatment. And I know for sure I'm going to adjust exposure. So I'm going to go to extremes and brighten it a lot. Obviously, that's too much, but I know that somewhere between 0 and 0.75 is where I want to be. I might land at 0.35, and then I'm going to try the shadows and just see what that does for me. Again, I'm going to go to extremes. That actually really makes it nice with the sort of washed out sky. That's not too bad. As I'm bringing out the light in the shadows, I feel like I'm losing some of that contrast. So I might just do a little bit of contrast. Then I'm going to come down to clarity as well. Just boost that a little bit. Again, go to extremes and then dial it back. Because this is kind of like a rough looking animal, I don't mind going a little bit too heavy on the clarity, but I'm still going to go down to like 8 right there. Great. Now I'm going to hit E to get out of the masking. I'm going to go back to the main editing. Then I'll come back to my sky mask. And then that way, now I just treat the sky. And I know for sure I definitely want to reduce the highlights. So let's just drop the highlights down. That's going to reduce a little bit of the light there, but it's not enough. Sometimes a real quick and dirty way to deal with skies, especially good cloudy skies where you know there's some texture, you know there's some color, you know there's some funk, is to just use the dehaze slider. So I'm just going to go 2 extremes. Again, too much. I know for sure that's too much. I know really anything dehazes me too much. But notice how I went to 39, like, oh, that's actually kind of tolerable. It's still too much in my mind, but I'm going to come down to like, I don't know, 25. I like that quite a bit. And then I'm just going to come and just see what clarity does. And again, extremes, yeah, that's not where I want to do. See, notice how like I'm going to go to extremes and it just doesn't do much. Like it does a little bit, it pops it, but I'm not going to go to 93. I'm going to go back to down to 0. And I'm actually going to go up in just a few increments on dehaze because I did like what that resulted in. And I'm just going to hover my mouse over that 25 and just hit up on the keyboard until I get just a little bit more out of that sky, which I really like. I mean, there's just some good color out there. Okay, great. So I saturated that. I'm going to go back to E, which is my main editing panel, and then I'm just going to do an auto white balance just for kicks, just to see what it does. Not much. It sort of warmed it up, so we're now at 6,800, started at 6,150. Let's try it again, just see what it does. Yeah, it's not enough for me to really change my mind. So, okay, great. Now, it's a center weighted shot. My mind immediately goes to vignette, and I'm just going to go to extremes. Obviously too much, but just a little bit on the edges is kind of nice. I'm just going to do barely any because it's the direction I want to go, but I'm actually going to use a radial mask in this case. So J gives me a circle. I'm actually going to bring it in a little bit and just focus on the lion. Bring it out a little bit, and then watch the magic here. Once again, inverse, and now I'm only treating the outside of that. I just want to darken it. I want to get the light away from the edges while keeping the nice light on the lion. And yeah, I quite like that a lot, and hit return. Okay, then the last thing I'm going to do is really treat the mane and the face of the animal. So I'm going to hit K for my brush tool. I'm going to go down using the left bracket. I'm just going to brush over its face and a little bit of its mane. I'm going to be careful not to get the sky. but I just want to do a bit of that. And then I notice it's a dark patch there. That's a little bit distracting. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to do a little bit of exposure. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Not a little bit, a lot. Too much, right? So you can see at 0.7, that's too much. Just a little, 0.35 is nice. What about shadows? It's just a little bit too washed out. Yeah, I quite like that a lot. I might mess around with some saturation and just see. Go to extremes, obviously way too much. No, I don't like saturation. Maybe 5. That's probably about it. Come back to my editing pane, and yeah, I like that a lot. So to see before, after, that's done. That's ready.